things I want to go over this morning here. If any of you guys follow me or follow others, about the real estate market, the biggest hit that's being done right now is the commercial real estate end. That's the crash in prices that people are wanting to see in the housing market. But this here, because this caught my attention probably, I think it was about a year and a half ago, when I caught wind of one of the downtown towers in Cincinnati was being foreclosed on. And of course, it's spreading across the country. There's a lot of cities. Seattle, they're getting hit real bad with it. But I'm going to read this to you. And this is from Channel 5, or was not Channel 5, Channel 12, WKRC. As of April of 2026, downtown Cincinnati is experiencing a commercial real estate downturn collapse, with at least 5 high-profile towers entering receivership or foreclosure, including the 580 building, 312 Elm Street building, 312 Plum Street building. These actions are driven by rising vacancies and debt, and forcing sales and restructuring of prominent offices properties. There are some investors private investors like myself that are picking these things up for 90% from off of what they were originally bought for, and that could have been a few years ago up to a decade ago. Some of these investors, because they're picking them up so cheap, it's actually monetarily not a bad idea to turn them into like townhouses, apartments, things like that, which, if as that happens, it's going to cause the price of housing to go down even further, because they're going to have to, your regular houses are going to have to compete with the prices of what somebody can go buy them a townhouse or a condo, or how they renovate these. That's one thing I never got into, was the commercial end. In commercial, I consider like a duplex a commercial property. It's residential, but I just never really wanted to get into it, because when I first started getting into this full time back in 2008, I was hearing some like horror stories, from landlords, where you get you get the one tenant complaining about the other one because they don't get along, and it's constant, harassment from, oh, well, they did this, or so, there's constantly snitching on one another, or making crap up just to get the other one in trouble, so that hopefully you'll kick them out. I'm not against buying duplexes. I mean, at one time I considered buying a triplex, like a ranch style triplex, where it's a big long ranch style house, and it's broke up into 3 apartments. And I considered doing that at one time. Now if I did that, I would live in the middle one and then rent the 2 sides out. That way that your neighbors don't hear one another. I mean, granted, they're going to hear you if you're loud, but the purpose of living in the center one would have been during the winter time. This is why I'm cheap. I like to save money. I'm always thinking of ways to save money or make money. But in the winter time, if you live in the middle one, they're both running their heat on each side, so it's going to keep your walls warm, where you only got to heat the front and the back. Sorry if the phone, the camera's kind of fading in and out, because the sun's coming up over my neighbor's roof over here. But yeah, the commercial real estate's really taking a pounding. And I'm trying to think here, because there was a lot of commercial real estate that took beatings, during the GFC, and that spread. I mean, because a lot of this commercial stuff, the commercial buildings that are bought, there was one, I think it was in San Francisco. Um, it was bought for I think it was like $1 billion, and it was some German company that bought it with pension money, and it ended up getting liquidated. And the person that bought the property, because it was for sale, it went into foreclosure because they turned the keys in, and the private investor picked it up. I think they picked it up for like 300 and some million. So I mean, 70% off. But you got to go in there and renovate it or whatever you're going to do, because if the person that lost it had it as offices and they were vacant, you're not going to get those offices back. All the remote working, the white collar layoffs, they continue to pile up. That's another topic we're going to go into right now. But when you get all those people that's not working anymore, you're not going to get those. Like, if one business failed, you can't pick it up for pennies and try to do the same thing. You got to come up with a different idea, or it's not going to work. Where was it? Here, let me see if I can find it. It's in my email. Sorry, this phone is very slow. Here it is. Of course, we all know about Amazon laying off 30,000. There's one here, and this is from Microsoft plans first ever voluntary employee buyout up to 7% of their U.S. workforce. They're still cutting staff. They don't want to be known as the company that laid off, so they're going to offer them a buyout. Some people will take it. I wouldn't. I mean, that's not bad for people that's wanting to retire or wanting to do something different or close to retirement. Take the buyout and go do something different in life. You do what your ambitions tell you to do. Do stuff that's going to make you happy. Now, if this doesn't work, like I see what they're doing, they're going to try to do a buyout first, just to get rid of the people that want to go, or the older people, or ones that are close to retirement. They'll try to get rid of them first, and if that doesn't work, then they'll actually do the forced layoffs. Hold on, let me pull up another one here. Like I said, I find these reports and I email them to myself. There was bear with me a second. It's going to try to play this video. With the Strait of Hormuz, like garbage going on over there in the Middle East. There was a big, facility, I think of Qatar, or one of them over there, where the Iranians actually blew it up. And it's, it's not just the fact that ships aren't getting out that's causing the shortages in the oil, but all that got blown up. They've all literally got to remake all that. They got to repump all that out of the ground and get all back up and going. But there was a report here from Bloomberg that says Goldman Sachs expects global oil inventories to hit record lows. Like your countries that don't have a lot of oil production, a lot of them in Europe, also Australasia, New Zealand, Australia, and down in there. They do got some oil production, but not on a scale like what we got here in North America and stuff. That's going to cause the prices to just go up even further on your fuel, your diesel. That's going to cause your commodities to go up. I've been seeing people put comments about getting shipping done, and they're charging fuel surcharges again. They started doing fuel surcharges, I think it was 2006 is when the Congress allowed them to add it to the bill. And you're seeing that again now, but a lot of that never went away. They just left it on there. But that whole thing with the layoffs, all this is just compounding on itself, and one's overlapping, and they just keep they're causing each other just to get worse and worse and worse. Because if you go, you got your commercial real estate collapsing because people's doing remote work or they've laid off, so that sector's doing that, which that's going to fall into the housing market, because you got these private investors going to try to make apartments, townhouses, condos out of that, so they're going to be competing. All this stuff's intertwining, and the snowball is just getting bigger and bigger as it's going down the hill. And then you're getting people that, like the younger generation, that want property but can't afford the down payment, or they got too much DTI, or they just don't have the income capacity with their employer, their job, in order to afford the mortgage because of the taxes and the insurance. So they're looking at doing, they're investing in these companies, these real estate companies, where you can buy fractional shares of like buildings, kind of like Bitcoin. It's like if I start a company, and like I'm, let's say I get into buying I bought another 100 properties, and I want to sell part of this off. People can buy into my company, and then they can have like 2% shares of whatever, like of that building or whatever it was I did. And that's what a lot of them are doing. They're looking at investing their money that way. Me personally, I would be cautious with doing that right now with the way these prices are going. They're going down. They're going to continue to go down. Don't let anybody tell you they're not. You're starting to see a lot more properties come on the market where people took them off the market because the area wasn't going to get the price that they wanted, and they thought, well, I'll just pull it off the market. I'll throw it back on, in the springtime, like a lot of people do, and the prices are stagnant, and they're not going to get that. They'll have to offer some kind of incentive. And what is that guy doing over there? I'm sorry, I'm like a squirrel, just always paying attention. But yeah, that's this is some stuff I picked up off the wire. Oh, here's another good one. I want to read this to you. This is from a local business owner. He's a mechanic, and he has like a car lot. And this is how bad things are getting. I mean, just in my area here in Ohio. And I'm not going to say who it is. This is his little beef on Facebook he posted, and it says, okay, there's no excuse why you can't make your car payment or your repair payment. We are here, told the address, from 8 to 5 every day except Saturday and Sunday. You can even call in your payment to the front desk. I'm just giving fair warning to customers that are taking advantage of our payment system and not paying their bills. I will work with anyone to make it right if possible. Just shows you, that people's not getting. I mean, if they do get their car fixed, do they got the money to pay to get it fixed, or are they stiffing people like this mechanic? Yeah, it's tax refund season. You might see a little bit of a boost in the economy because people's getting their refunds. But with the fuel prices up, and these electric bills, there was a lady this morning, got her electric bill, and it's due on May 5th. And she lives, I think she lives in between Dayton and Cincinnati. $1,431.62 for her electric bill, and she's in a 2-bedroom apartment. So how would that make you feel? You're paying more than what you pay in rent for your electric bill because of all these data centers and stuff. But it's just going to continue to get worse. I'm glad it has warmed up some. I left the windows open all night. It got down, I think it was like, was it 56 this morning, but it's already getting warm again. Because even though it was like 60 when I went to bed, or 65, it wasn't 65 in the house. It was still 74 from, the house being hot. So I just turned the fan on and let the air keep moving around. I prefer fresh air anyway over AC. Unless you're in Florida, of course, where it's all muggy, and then you got all them no-see-ums, and because they love biting on me. Anyway, have a good rest of the morning, and I'm going to keep watching The Wire and see what else comes up. You guys got any questions? I had one person ask me on my last video about my username on here. It's Operation Retribution. I come up with that name when everything started to tank back in the GFC, and what I had set aside in liquid, I took a big chance and I started buying up these houses, pennies on a dollar. I mean pennies. And I was being told by people around me I needed to stop wasting my time. What I was doing was dumb. I need to go get a regular job. You know, this is just me not wanting to work. And by the end of it, I had acquired 11 properties. Like I said, for pennies. There was one property that I had. It was a short sale. I've told you guys about this, but it was I got it. It took me like 3 months to get it. And I think I had like 39,000 in the entire thing. That was buying it and what little bit of repairs I did and cleaning the property up. And 5 weeks later, I walked out of the bank with a check in my hand for 65,000. So I took that money, excuse me, I split it in two, and I went and bought 2 more properties. And I continued to buy properties until I ran out of money. But no, that's why I come up with that name, because they told me it couldn't be done. I did achieve it. The operation has been completed, but I love what I do for a living. Compared to what I was doing, I'm glad that I quit my job. I have not had, let's see here, when was the last time I had a job? An actual full-time job. The last time I had one was I quit. It was July of 2008 when I quit my job, and that was my full-time job I had. And I did maintenance for Walmart. It wasn't a bad job. The management, I mean, they didn't bother me. They didn't mess with me. I did see how they treated a lot of workers. Now, at that time, there was a lot of maintenance guys that worked for General Motors, and they were working. They worked at the store also, and the management didn't bother them too much. And that was because it was funny, because we always showed up for work. We, we were always there early. And but then you get to people like, there was one girl that they fired her. She was shoving meat down her bra. She was some big fat girl, and she had big old boobs, and she was shoving, because she worked in the meat department, shoving meat down in her bra and taking it home, and they got her for stealing. And I remember when they fired her, because she was standing back at the door where you go in to get what was it, layaway back then, but it's kind of like right where the restrooms and shit are. And she stood there and she goes, "They haven't seen the last of me." And it was just funny, you're a thief, and she was kind of nasty anyway, so it didn't surprise me. But yeah, that was the last time I had a full-time job. So it's been 18, no, how long has it been? 18. So yeah, it's been 18 years ago last time I had a full-time job. I've worked for myself. Now I've done I do side jobs on top of my rentals. I got a backhoe. I do digging for people, whatever they might need. Pretty much handyman, because there ain't much I haven't done. But I never turn work down, especially times like this. But in general, I rarely turn work down. I remember when my plumbing business I own, I actually have an LLC, and man, my friend, when we got it going, I think it was like May of 16, May of 16, and we were getting, we were just doing plumbing, light electrical and stuff like that. Well, then people wanted us to put a handrail in, fence, and we were just doing it. And I remember we got so busy with jobs, and people was calling and wanting other work, and I would like price stuff high, like I gave them a price, I'm like, I'll just throw this high price at them, and some of them actually took. They was like, okay, so you're definitely going to go pull off a job to go do a job that you priced up just because you didn't have time to do it, but you made time because that's how business works. A lot of contractors do that. They'll throw a high price. They don't have time to mess with you, and you'd be surprised the people that come back and they'll accept it. So you go take that job. But no, I stay busy. I enjoy it. Do I miss working? Sometimes I miss the whole. Oh, he's getting a new roof put on. Okay, that's what he's getting done. Sometimes I do miss like hanging out with people, but I am a people person. I like to talk. I can go anywhere and chat with whoever. But no, I enjoy what I do. The only one downfall to my job with me being a landlord is sometimes I'm too dedicated. And what I mean by that is if I'm awake and something happens, I'll go deal with it. One night I had one of my tenants. I was just getting ready to go to bed, and I think it was like 10 o'clock at night, and the hot water tank went out. So I got all my stuff. Of course, couldn't get one that late at night, so I got to their house and shut every, I got everything all turned off. It had, oh, that's a fire truck there. Had water on the floor, because the overflow when the thermostat went bad, so it overheated and it blew the water out. And I think I got back to the house. I got up there like 10. I think I got back. It was like 1:30 or 2 in the morning. That's just something I do. It's my stuff, so I might as well take care of it. I wouldn't. Looking back on when I was first started working, my the job I wanted to do, I wanted to be in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for about 6 years, and you couldn't pay me to do that job again because I got tired of people. They would call into the police station and they'd complain about this, complain about that, or they'd tell you that they'd say, I pay your salary, you'll do what I say. No, that doesn't work that way, but I got so sick of people complaining, and it was the same ones complaining. But anyway, you guys have a good day, and I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Please like my video, share my video, subscribe to my channel. I'm still trying to get my numbers up, so I'm still trying to hit that 1,000 mark. I'm getting closer and closer every time. So take care, guys.